this is going to be your best
Listen.
podcast ever.
Epicurean. But OFC and pink lemonade's pretty damn good. It'll put your boat in the marsh. Jesus did not die so you could eat yellow number 5. Excitable.
The nose starts off gentle with noticeable scents of grain that takes shape in the form of fresh baked bread.
Ma'am, you're in the wrong podcast. Educated-ish. I have used the term overproof for so long without really knowing what it
constitutes.
Because for
Is
me,
there a definition officially?
Welcome to Bitches and Bourbon.
And we're live. Hello, Reba. How are you?
Hello, April.
What kind of answer is that, Dud? Hello, how are you?
Honestly, I'm feeling fucking fed up with some bullshit, but I guess that's why. It makes this evening turn into even better, because then I can just drink and chill and say fuck it, move on.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Hey, you asked.
I did, and I did. I wanted to know. Does my mic sound funny to you?
There's some kind of fuzzy noise.
I think it's the fan. Hold on. We're back.
Wonderful.
Had to hunt down the errant noise.
Yes. Can't have errant noise in the background.
No errant noise in the background. Oh, now I'm trying to put the headphone in the wrong damn ear, which is mostly problematic because there's already a headphone in that ear. So this is just the kind of night it's going to be. Reba has us escalated all quickly.
There we go. It was the right path without even knowing it.
I really do. I really think you're right, because interestingly enough, I think if you heard the season finale and if you heard the season opener, on the season finale, we wanted to start season 3, we mentioned, with the Herradura Legend.
Yes.
And
we couldn't find it.
I think because we bought it all.
Good possibility.
Everything from our local liquor store we had already bought. So we did not open season 3 with the Herradura Legend. However, today we got the biggest... not really a treat because we paid full price for it, but Largo Beverage always has what we're looking for.
Yes.
Let's just go ahead and talk about that.
Yes.
Like if you can't find it anywhere, it's probably there.
Yes.
So we're very excited that Largo Beverage in Savannah said yes and come get it. I think we've mentioned that. I know we've mentioned that before, like just the importance of liquor store relationships and loyalty and getting to know the purveyors of the store and those kind of things. And I don't even know if that's the right word, but I don't care today
I know what
either.
you mean.
I don't care today either.
Read between the lines. In more ways than one.
So I guess the way this evening has started off, it's not a terrible thing that the bitches are drinking tequila.
There you go.
That is what we're doing tonight. We are doing the Herradura Legend. It is an Añejo tequila, 100% blue agave.
Yes.
And you don't know this.
No.
So
Educate.
we always, like the first time we found Herradura Legend was at Jeff's Beverage. And the guy said, April, I know you're a whiskey girl, but there's this tequila. It's aged in bourbon barrels.
Yes.
Right? And it sips like a bourbon. And I was like, take my money.
Yeah.
Right? Interestingly enough, that's wrong. It is not aged in bourbon barrels.
Just oak barrels?
Charred American white oak, which is the same barrels.
That's used for it. It's just that it wasn't like pre-used.
Correct. Like that's when he said bourbon barrels,
yes.
I heard used
that's
barrels.
That's what I would have guessed.
Right?
Yes.
But no, that's not it. It's
so they're
just
fresh barrels, just the same type that's used for
new American white oak there, and they make the distinction that their barrels are heavily charred, and then they dig huge grooves out of them so that the tequila has more time to kind of, and more surface area, and can get deeper in there and kind of pull those flavors out. So
it still explains the finish,
right,
but I wonder what it would taste like if it was done in a pre-used barrel.
Now I want to know. So if you haven't guessed already, this is not our first bottle of Legend. I don't think it's our 10th bottle of Legend, to be honest.
We went through this for a little while, like we did the Jack Gold.
Yeah,
we didn't buy it by the case, but it was frequently on hand.
Yeah, it didn't
last.
No, it doesn't. It's one of my husband's absolute favorite tequilas on the planet. He really likes the Casa Azul. I think that one's still his favorite. The Sincoro we really enjoy as well. But this Herradura Legend has had it actually took the top spot on my husband's list was the Don Julio 1942 until he found this bottle.
Yes.
And this bottle became his favorite. Of course, the Casa Azul, there's this different. The two tequilas are completely different.
Yes, it's hard to compare them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's more like, what are you in the mood for? Beer or bourbon?
Right.
I mean, it's like, we're
those two
two
things aren't
different
the same.
things.
Those aren't the same thing.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's like.
Extreme.
Yeah, you can't pick. Yes, what I'm saying. Like, those two things are not the same thing. And Herradura Legend really is different from any tequila I've ever had. Now, granted, I have not had as many different varieties of tequila
as whiskeys.
Right.
Yes.
But it is still. We've
had a fair selection.
And it's notably different.
Yes.
So.
It's hard to really think of this as being a tequila when you're drinking on it.
I agree with that. I really do.
It is not your typical tequila flavor in your mouth. And so, like, you're just hanging out, sipping, and you don't even give much thought to it being a tequila. And
we've never had a disappointed taster.
No.
I can't think of one.
No.
I can't.
Never heard anyone say, I'm not having that again.
Right. Or like the worst that'll happen is, ooh, that's tequila.
Time to try it. I mean, like, we got to be able to say, damn it, yes, it's fucking smooth.
But what I did want to say before I drink this one is this is not, the way we're drinking it is new.
Yes.
Because typically the bottle goes straight from the box into the freezer.
Yes.
And because of some of the things I saw on the website, which we will get into in a minute, I decided that we're not going to put it in the freezer. We're just going to drink it the way it's suggested on the website. And that's just completely neat, right out the bottle.
Which is what we typically do anyway.
With whiskey, right?
Yes.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. Like, I don't even get a strong tequila smell.
It's just so good.
Yes. It is smooth. You feel a little bit of a burn in the back, like but not, top of your throat almost. Here it is.
I love this. And there's no reason to go any further while it's going on because you'll have music in the background. Or I'm sure it won't be that bad.
So do you, just out of curiosity, like moving forward, I mean, obviously we paused and talked about it, in the beginning. So in the future of episodes, I guess we'll figure out now how well it is to hear with that going in the background.
Yeah.
We're doing the editing, which may play a role in our decision. But any thoughts as to whether you would cut it out if you're editing?
I don't know. Maybe we turn it into a game. Like every time the clock goes off, we do shots.
Oh, shit. Some of those nights would be horrible to play that game.
What if we did that every time?
Especially if it's one of those nights where like we're going seal to trash in 2 to 3 hours.
Well, then it won't matter anyway because that's what we were doing anyway. It won't really matter. Right?
Yeah,
it won't.
I guess.
But it's beautiful. Here's what I know. I know that I love it so much that I would literally stop every single time it happens and just enjoy it. But I think
this is the first time I haven't turned around to watch it.
Right. But I think that would get a little obnoxious. And maybe a little
especially
tedious.
For our listeners.
Yeah. No, I mean, only for them because definitively not for me.
Right.
Like, because I work in this office.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times I've stopped. Every hour that I've worked in here, I have stopped and looked at that clock when it goes off, and I'm just like, and it's so very nice. So anyway, I will tell you what thrills me to no end. I was concerned because we always put it in the freezer, and it's always so good out of the freezer. I was very interested to see what it would be like this. I don't know why we put it in the freezer, except for we just prefer it cold. My next glass is going to be on ice, and I'm just going to taste it the same way I taste my whiskey and see what I think. Because this is really good. You're absolutely right. it doesn't have that blow your face back. It does have that little that tequila.
Yes,
right.
That's a great description, because I'm sitting there like I don't know what to call it, and that's great.
It does.
That covers it.
So I take back what I initially thought was like it doesn't taste like a tequila at all. It does have that flavor profile of a tequila.
There's definitely a difference between this and a whiskey, but
if you didn't know any better, you would think it was like a tequila-like product.
Yeah,
and we're just sipping it, and
yes.
it's completely sippable. An amazingly drinkable tequila. It really is. It is my favorite tequila.
Mine.
I love the Casa.
Hands down.
Yeah, I love the Casa. I love the Sincoro.
Casa would, and I can't remember Sincoro enough. So, I mean, I think Casa would be my second. But again, it's hard to put those in the same umbrella.
Right.
So,
I completely agree. But this one is hands down my favorite tequila.
like if this wasn't called a tequila, then Casa Azul would be my top. But
I think so
because
too.
this is my top.
The thing that I like about the Casa Azul is I like that salt flavor that it has, and this has it too.
It has a much cleaner, I guess, profile, if you will. Mm-hmm. Like this, I mean, you can feel and taste the spice, and it's got that little extra when it comes to the flavor part. But
yeah, the flavor profile is the whole reason I never questioned the aged in bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yes.
Never questioned it, not once.
Right.
Because it definitely has that charred oak piece that bourbon has.
Yes.
It definitely has that. And it's fantastic. Yeah. And interestingly enough, we know shit all about tequila, but we're talking about it in way deeper depths than we ever talk about whiskey.
That's so true.
But that is why I'm glad I'm glad we decided to do a tequila for a number of reasons. One, I think it brings value to the show. Mm-hmm.
Not just whiskey. And we've said we're not just. This is our path.
Can you believe it?
Being not just whiskey.
Can you believe it took us till season 3 to do that, though? I mean, we're 20. This is episode 23 or something, and we're just now getting.
Well, to be fair, it was intention at least once, if not twice, that we even had a bottle to do an episode, and it disappeared to
the
husbands.
Yes.
So that's part of the reason.
Which is why we couldn't find it.
Keep in mind, we're at episode 23-ish.
Something
whatever.
like that. 20-something. We're legal now. We're legal now.
We're legal. But it's only been 8 months.
8 months, yeah. 8 months.
That's pretty cool.
I think it is pretty cool. I like it. 13 countries, 8 months, 13 countries. I love that. But I thought we would get to a different liquor type faster.
Yeah.
But I'm completely okay with it. What I think it speaks to is all the great whiskeys out there. I'm glad if I'm not drinking whiskey, if I'm sipping on something, the Herradura Legend is another thing I'll sip on. I will occasionally do vodka, occasionally do gin. Those always have like a water mixer of some type in them. But this I can drink neat on the rocks. I've never had it on the rocks, so I shouldn't say that, but we are going to try that tonight. But the thing that I like most about this is all of the tequila knowledge I learned and how much I realize there is still to learn.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get through half of the shit that I was trying to get through today.
Wow.
I will tell you that I'm almost embarrassed, except for I'm not going to be embarrassed. Like, you always don't know the things you don't know until you know them.
Right.
And for a long time, I just kind of like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I literally had no idea. And I'm just going to freely admit this.
Yeah.
I literally had no idea between like Blanco, Respado, and Añejo. I had no clue.
Gotcha.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you?
No. I mean, I know that I've heard it discussed. Did I retain it? No.
So evidently, like the only difference is the age. I mean, there's a couple of other differences.
Yeah.
The Blanco is white, unaged, or bottled and stored immediately after distillation. Or it's aged less than 2 months in stainless steel or neutral oak barrels.
That's a lot of ores that it
Right.
can be.
But it's still it comes out of the pot and you put it in the bottle and you put it in your face. That's the Blanco. And then the Respado is a minimum of 2 months, but less than a year in oak barrels of any size. And then the Añejo is a minimum of 1 year, but less than 3 years in small oak barrels.
Wow.
And then the extra Añejo is a minimum of 3 years in oak barrels. This category, like they didn't even have, like extra Añejo wasn't even an official category till March 2006. But yeah, it's just the age of the tequila, which reminded me of our celebrity episode.
Yes.
Where we talked about the different spirits that different celebrities
Yes.
were involved in and how many of them were tequilas, gins, and vodkas because it doesn't have the age needs
Yes.
that whiskey does. So
So what is this considered?
that's a Respado.
Respado.
And so I guess as we've seen, like maybe, do you know what the extra Añejo is? The Suprema. The Herradura Suprema
Yeah.
is an extra Añejo.
Oh. That
Yeah.
makes a really good margarita. Right?
Yes.
That's the one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the one.
This is 80 proof.
Well, good. Then we can sip on it a little longer before we start talking in italics.
Yes.
So that's always a plus.
Interesting enough, I don't know if you found it, but I was not able to find it on Booze app. How much did we pay for it?
$149.99. Worth every penny.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So Herradura has a couple of different offerings, but that Suprema was the first one we tried. So we came to Herradura because my husband, who was typically a Patron drinker, the Patron wouldn't give him a hangover. So that's what he stuck to. And then it started to. And I try to explain to him that it's birthdays, not liquor. And maybe volume.
That may have.
Except for he brought up a very valid point. He's like, 5-10 years ago, I drank way more than that. And that's absolutely true. So he was hunting no hangover.
Yes.
And so he had it in his brain that more expensive, like that's what he had to do. Like he had to find a better quality
Yes.
tequila. So he bought the Suprema, which is $400, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
That's crazy.
It was absolutely bizarre. I remember praying to the tequila gods that he had the worst hangover
Yes.
of his whole life because I just couldn't imagine
That being a regular.
that being his thing.
Yes.
Right? Interesting enough, nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody. And there were a few, like, avid tequila drinkers that tried it. That was like, yeah, that's not worth it.
That's not what we're looking for.
Not worth the money.
But we had to drink it because we paid
Of
all that money
course.
for it. So we made margaritas out of it. With just, and I'm not talking about swanky margaritas. Like we weren't crushing limes and soda. We weren't doing any of that. Like we literally were using the Jose Cuervo mix,
Yes.
right? Best fucking margarita I've ever had. And I don't really like
Right.
margaritas. But this margarita was,
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it till it was gone. And then we're like, damn, now we do want another bottle.
and he actually did buy one more bottle because we had some folks coming over. And he's like, oh my God, you have to
Yes.
taste this margarita. I was like, are we really? And he's like, yeah, they got to try this margarita. Because it really was that different.
Yes, I agree.
It was notably
Agreed.
different. So, yeah.
If only all the bars served him that way.
Yeah, you wouldn't pay for it, though.
No.
Like, nobody. We were at a restaurant downtown, and we saw, like, a $120 margarita.
I think it was 180.
Something.
Yeah, it
And-
was some ridiculous price. It had the Don Julio 1942 in it.
Right.
Yes.
But, and I don't know why you would do that because the 1942 is an amazingly drinkable tequila.
Yes.
Like that's delicious.
Right.
And I will tell you that that's one of the things that I think the 1942 has over. If there's anything that it has over the Legend, is I really like the Don Julio 1942 mouthfeel. It's got that buttery, velvety kind of mouthfeel that I really, really like that the Legend just does not have.
And what do you remember what that bottle typically ran?
I I think it ran us close to $200.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's check the booze app and see if it's in here. Yeah, it says that it says the average MSRP is $137.91 and the fair price is $172.15. I'd go with that. We haven't bought a bottle in so long.
Right.
I don't necessarily remember. But but that's the only thing.
It's been over a year, yeah.
Oh, it's been longer than
Yeah,
that. It's been
couple
longer
years.
than that. I do remember I officiated one of my bestie's daughter's weddings, and the after party was at Savannah Smiles. And when the waitress comes to the table, we know that Savannah Smiles occasionally has 1942 on their bar.
Yes.
And the little waitress comes over, and there's got to be 20 of us at this table. And the little waitress comes over, and he's like, "Do you have the 1942?" And she goes, "I'm not really sure." But I'll go check. And I kind of, I got to go pee, and I kind of follow her. I'm like, "Baby," I said, "I got $100 if you just come back and tell him no." Because what's going to happen is...
Yes, he's going to buy for the whole fucking
Because
table.
everybody's got... That's the way he is.
Yes.
If he loves it, everybody's got to taste it.
Yes.
Everybody's
because
got to have some.
probably nobody at that table has ever tried it.
Everybody's got to have it.
Yes.
Everybody's got to have it. And I'm like, "I got $100.
Yeah.
Just tell him no." And he called me out on it later. And I'm like, "No." And she was so good. She was like, "No." She's like, "That's crazy." And then a couple of weeks later, I copped to it. But she was great.
I'm sure you were quickly forgiven.
Oh yeah, he was like, "You're smarter than me." He was
Yes.
actually pretty appreciative. He was like, "You're smarter than me." He goes, "Because that would have been
Good
dumb."
call.
Yeah, he's like,
Good call.
"You're exactly right. That's exactly what was fixing to happen."
Yes.
And that would have been dumb. And I'm
I'm glad he owned that shit too.
yes. So the Herradura website has like all of these different cocktails for all of their different varieties, and they have quite a few different varieties. Yeah, they have like silver, and they have the Respado, and the Añejo, and the Ultra. And so they have all of these different varieties. So they have corresponding cocktails, like most liquor websites do. So you have like the Fresca and the apricot sour and the Ciudad. But when you, and some of the bottles have most of the bottles have multiple cocktails. When you get to the cocktails for the Legend, it's like neat. Just pour it in a fluted glass and let it do what it does. Like that's it.
Fucking awesome.
Period. Like,
I like that.
That's all it is. Neat. Done. And I can't imagine putting anything but maybe a little bit of ice, maybe a little bit of water, maybe lining the rim with like an orange slice or something. But like that's the only...
a little touch of citrus would probably be nice with that.
That's the only thing I could think of that I would do to this one. And so, of course, like I always do, I needed to go find their story. Yeah. Right? And there were a couple of things that were really cool. One was, legend has it, they invented the Respado tequila in 1974. And I haven't found anything to contradict that.
Nice.
Legend also has it that they created the Extra Añejo in 1995. Now, they had the Extra Añejo in 1995. Wasn't an official category till 2006. However, there is another tequila that I've never heard of, El Tesoro. And because I've never heard of it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, I'm not a huge tequila person. Right. But these folks beg to differ. Okay. That they had the first Extra Añejo in 1994. And I don't have a dog in that race. Right. So I don't, like, it's really cool. Like, they had one of the first or the second ones. Like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
There's a reason why they're still doing so well.
Yeah. Like I'm good. Yeah. But the coolest thing that I found out about the Herradura brand, and it's not going to surprise anybody that when I heard this, I was like, fuck yeah. Casa Herradura was home to the first female tequila distiller. Master distiller Teresa Lara López is retired. So nice. After she had been doing it for like 30 years. So from the beginning, I think she was the one that did the Respado. She was the one that did the Extra Añejo. And first female master tequila distiller. And I was like,
hell yeah.
Mic drop. Like,
no shit.
Yeah, I loved that. I thought that was really cool. I also...
Well, cheers to her, because she made some fucking killer shit.
I like that, yes. Cheers, Senora López. because it is good. Another thing that I didn't realize was a thing. I mean, I think I knew it was a thing, but I never really considered it to be a thing. You have camps, right, in the tequila world, and it's those that are like, make tequila however you make it, that's fine. Other folks are like, if it's not 100% agave, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
I don't know enough about it to have an opinion
Me
on
either.
that. I do know that every tequila I like is 100% agave.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I have no idea. No clue. So when I was researching, as one does,
Yes.
it occurred to me that if we do a whiskey podcast, and if I listen to whiskey podcasts, that may chance there was a tequila podcast. And there is. And it's girls.
What's it called? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. It's called Team Tequila Talks. And I started on their first episode. And when I started on their first episode, I immediately fell in love with them.
Oh, yeah?
Because their main selling point was the health benefits of tequila. There was one host that was talking about like the tequila that they were drinking, and I don't remember which one it was, but it had a peppery kind of profile to it.
Yeah.
And she really liked it because of the peppery profile. I don't remember which one it was, but they were saying that they did like a turmeric ginger tequila lemonade, and it was like an anti-inflammatory because the pepper and the tequila activated the shit in the turmeric. And quite frankly, I give two fucks if none of that is true.
Yeah.
I believe it. Like, and they even they even said that at the end. At the end, they were like, "Look, we understand that for every science study, there's going to be another science study that refutes it. We're going with the pros." And I'm like, I ride with them.
Yeah,
like,
hell yeah.
Yes, like health drinks.
That's who you're going to support.
Yeah, I'm in. And so I'm like, yes, these are my people. And so I listened to a couple of more episodes because they were a lot of fun. Then, and I didn't get through it, which I cannot, I didn't know. I started from the beginning. So by the time I'm coming home and getting off the interstate, the episode that I'm on is whiskey versus tequila. Had I known,
Yeah.
I'd have gone episode
Straight-
one. No, I'd have gone
Yeah.
episode one first.
Yes.
I'd have gone episode one
Good feel.
first.
Yeah.
I knew I had enough. I would have known I had enough time.
Yeah.
I'd have gone episode one first, and then I would have gone whiskey versus tequila. And there was a couple of things I really liked about that episode. And I don't know if they had a guest on. She is a whiskey girl,
Got it.
and so they are trying to bring her over.
Yes.
And you know, look, in my relationship with my husband, I insist on monogamy or death. Like, those are your choices. But what
I agree.
This is well known information.
Yes.
But in my spirits, I think different spirits have different occasions, and
Yes.
and I think
Moods and
I think I could be an avid tequila fan and an avid whiskey fan, and
Yes.
Dan can be a rum guy.
Right.
You can have that. Like, right? That's good. So I don't know if she had a whiskey that she brought to the table and they were exchanging.
Gotcha.
But what I do know is that the tequila ladies had a whiskey girl at their table, so they pulled out the heavy hitters. Like, the Casa Azul was
Yeah.
what they had. And I appreciated that they respected a female whiskey palate enough to not come out with some half-baked
Yes.
whatever.
Bullshit.
I loved that. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah. I'm a
Nice.
whiskey girl too. I'll drink some Classa with you.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed them. I found them on Apple Podcast. I'm sure they're all over the place.
That's cool.
We'll make sure to link them up in the show notes. But they were, honestly, they sound a lot like us. I mean,
Yeah.
none of them say fuck like we do. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. But it was good. I liked it. Do you want ice?
Yes, please.
Like, I think the next time the clock goes off, I'm going to shake my little ice while the clock goes and see, like, if I can reach nirvana.
There you go.
So that was as much as I could get into. I'll tell you what I know now. I know that I'm very interested in learning more about tequila as a craft. Maybe. Here's what I know that not all of them taste this good. It's great on ice. It holds its own well.
I like it.
I do too. I mean, I think it's fine.
I'm interested to see when it melts a little bit more, how much it changes.
It's just fucking good tequila.
It almost gets rid of that noise you made.
No, I still have it. It's just on the back. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a
It's a
way,
little more mellow.
it's ice, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty quick.
So, a couple of interesting other facts about Herradura.
Okay.
Founded in 1870.
Wow.
Yeah, 152 years ago. Of course, Brown Foreman bought them 2007, I guess, when that extra Añejo thing took off. They were like, all right. In 1990s, there was a conflict over sales of shares in the company by some members of the family, as well as the Agave growing land. Part of the legal problem stemmed from the sale of shares to non-Mexican entities. In 2004, Herradura bought back foreign-owned shares, making the company 100% Mexican-owned again. At this time, the company controlled 30% of the Mexican tequila markets behind Jose Cuervo's 40% share. Yeah, but they sold to they sold to Brown Furman for $776 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, I think they're doing
They're set.
okay. They're doing okay. Cuervo, as old as you think Herradura is, Cuervo, 1795.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I had no idea.
1790. He is a friend of mine. When I was a young lass. I can't tell you the last time I drank Cuervo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. But
Probably just in the brand of the margarita mixes.
Yeah, I mean like Cuervo Gold.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I drank that. I'm not saying that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd kind of be afraid to. It's kind of like the beer funnel that I did a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
right? Where I was petrified.
Yes.
Like my husband swears she's going to do this funnel. She's going to do this funnel. I haven't done that. 25 years I haven't done a beer funnel. I'm like, I am fixing to embarrass myself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can do this anymore. He's like, you'll be fine. So when I beat the Peruvian general,
Yes.
and the Aussies were like, holy fuck. I was like, guess I still got it. I think it would be the same. I think it would be the same with the Cuervo.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be able to drink that. Like, I don't know. My dad, so we've mentioned before my dad's Hawaiian.
Yes.
So my Uncle Wally, who has since passed, he would take, he showed us this thing. He would take a lihimoi seed, and in Hawaii, that's either you know or you don't know. Anyway, it's a super kind of tangy, spicy, soaked seed.
Yes.
He would take the lihimoi seed and he would put it in a bottle of Cuervo, cap it up, and like leave it for a
Let
week.
it marinate.
Oh man!
Yes, I remember trying it.
We called it Wally water.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Wally water. But I don't know if I could do that again, to be honest. To be very honest. But yeah, you should check out the podcast. It's kind of cool. They have this neat little, and I don't know how many episodes do this because I've only got through like 3.5 of them on the way home. But they have this neat little format where they say hello and then they talk about tequila, and they have another co-host. I think her name is Whitney, but she evidently used to work for TMZ or whatever. So she comes in and she does like a 10-minute, like this is the gossip scoop.
Gotcha.
Pop culture thing, which is kind of fun. I'll be honest, I'm sure it was great. I fast forwarded through all those parts only because I had a limited amount of time.
Yes.
I would have listened to it because she obviously knows what she's talking about, and I don't consume enough pop culture. So I think she would be good for me.
Yeah.
Like, she's a great little Cliff Notes. So I think that's what I'm going to, like, I think I'm going to listen to that for a whole lot of reasons. One, if I could listen to a podcast a day, get a brand new tequila with a little bit of tequila insight and like pop culture Cliff Notes to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Yes.
There-
Thank you.
yeah, no
Thank
kidding.
you. Like over here, I'm trying to like dissect Milton.
Right.
We're going to be talking about Joyce.
If you're going to spend time doing it, why not listen to it through the podcast?
Like, I don't know if you guys will have heard that. I don't know what order these things, we've been trying to power record some stuff. So I don't know what episode you're going to get this in, but like one of our episodes, we're going to talk about a modern day retelling of Beowulf and how those gender stereotypes, like that's the kind of stuff we talk about.
Yes.
She's like Kanye West should leave Kim alone. And I'm like, yeah. Pete doesn't deserve that shit. And I was like, okay, I need some of this in my life. Yeah, I think I think
have to give him a try.
I did. I subscribed to I don't know. Maybe we can get him on. I don't know. That would be kind of cool. They have an episode here from August 18th called "The Husbands." So the thing says the husbands, Stephen Amell and Rick Gonzalez, join Cassandra and Sharon for a not so 1970s version of the Newlywed Game.
Oh shit.
While sipping on a passion fruit mezcal margarita situation. Come learn which couple actually gets one another and which needs more therapy. Spoiler alert, it's probably both. Come on, that's just good.
Yes, that's nice.
That's just good. So anyway, we like them. So we had a lot of great finds today. I now can, when somebody says, it's a Respado, I can go, oh. And then I'll have to look at my hand where I've written my notes down to remember, like, is that the 2-month one or the 8-month? Like, is that the 2-year? I don't know. Okay.
I would have remembered if I was maybe before all the drinks.
I really...
I lose that knowledge.
You know me. I'm full of transparency, right?
Yes.
I'll be real fucking honest. I thought all that shit had to do with the color. Like, once you call something Blanco...
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Blanco. Like, once you do that, like, I just assume, like, we're just talking about the way it looks.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I literally thought that's what they were talking about. I had an inkling that maybe it had something to do with, like, the sugar used, because I knew that agave was a thing. I
Right.
didn't know what kind of thing.
Right. I didn't either.
Yeah. And I still don't fully understand the whole agave thing. I'm interested to learn,
Yeah.
but I still don't get it. I still don't get it. But I can talk to you about the different peat profiles of the different areas of Scotland and their Scotch. So there's that. So see, I don't feel terrible about myself. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to know all the things.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I know.
And you're willing to learn. You're willing to take other things in. Like, you're not... You don't have your blinders on to just one thing.
No, and so if you're not following us on our TikTok, like, push stop, slap yourself in the face for not doing it sooner, and then go do that.
Yes.
But I did. I posted a video this morning, and it was kind of like this thing where I have just completely said fuck you to the idea of a niche or niche.
Yes.
I can't say it like that.
I can't either.
I can't.
say niche.
Niche. It's like pronouncing LaCroix, LaCroix.
Yeah.
I can't fucking do it. I just can't.
You know what I'm talking about.
And not only that, it's not wrong. Like,
Right.
it's right both ways.
Correct.
But I'm an amazingly, appearance-wise, I'm an amazingly white woman from southern Georgia. And niche.
Yes.
And my face even looks fucked up. Like, no. Anyway, I digress. Shocker. Finally, at the age of 46 years old, I have given up the idea of finding one. My entire business career, my entire creative career, that's what everybody tells you. Like, you have to figure out what your content is centered around. You have to find out what your business is centered around. You have to figure out what your lane is. And then you need to stay in that lane so that you can provide quality content for your people.
And progress.
Yeah. So your customers know, like, your clients, or we don't buy or sell, we don't sell anything here. So your listeners, whatever, your audience, that's better, knows what to expect. If my husband doesn't know what to expect, I don't know why I owe that to an audience.
Yeah, no shit.
And so I have just, but I have tried. I have legions of bought and dismissed web domains. I have legions of all of these things attempting to figure out what niche I can live with long term. Like, what box can I put myself in and be comfortable there long term?
Yeah.
And then when I thought about it that way, I was like, the fuck is that? I don't want to, no, just no. And it occurred to me that my audience doesn't live like that either. Like, our audience comes from all over the place and likes all kinds of things.
Right.
Like, when we were talking the other day, we were talking about all the different people we could have on and all the different things we could talk about. And that's fucking fun.
Yes.
So, yeah, I decided to say fuck you to the niche. I quit.
Yep.
I've decided that my niche is being a failure at finding my niche.
There you go.
And I'm in. Like, that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
So
No further thought.
yeah, and so that was the video that I posted today, because Bourbon Talk, like a lot of folks on Bourbon Talk, are very bourbon focused, and our TikTok feed has kind of moved away from that. Like, we've had a lot of fun with the lip sync videos and that kind of shit. And so in transparency, I just felt like I should go on there and say so. And so the next couple of things I'm going to do, and it's going to take a little bit of research because I want it to be well thought out, is at the beginning of every one of our episodes, we talk about the 3 pillars that we built this show on. Excitable, Epicurean, and educated-ish.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to start there. I'm going to start with the educated-ish. Like, we know a lot about a lot of things. Or I guess
Not
more
necessarily.
accurately, we know a little about a lot of things.
Yeah. And it's enough.
And we're always learning, right? Like,
Yes.
we're always trying to figure it out. We're always trying to learn more. We're not afraid to be wrong. We're not afraid to sit on here and go, I'm today years old, when I realized that Blanco, Respado, Añejo, and Extra Añejo was an age statement and not a color. Like, I didn't fucking know.
Right.
And here's the real truth. If somebody out there is getting their panties in a wad because we said something wrong, call us up, get on the show, and fix it.
Right.
I would suggest you not be a dick when you do that, but absolutely come on and fix it. Like, that's fine.
Bring a bottle.
Yeah. You'll be better received.
Yeah.
Your correction will be the reception of your correction will be directly proportional to the quality bottle you put on the table first. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. Deal.
All right, how you want to wrap it up?
I don't know. You go. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say, right? Because it's great. I love it. Here's what I really like about it. I like that I am now inspired to go learn more about the craft that went into making it.
I agree.
I know they said
I really didn't have a whole lot of interest per se, but this draws, it was great hearing the stuff that you had found just on this one, and we know that there's others. Like, I'd be interested to see if there's a story with, the Casa and, yeah.
Senora López lit my socks, right?
Yes.
I was like,
It's hard. That definitely would be hard to top.
right? I mean, because think about it. I mean, how many female master distillers does whiskey have? A handful?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she's been doing it for 30 years. Retired. No, I'm sorry. She had been doing it for 30 years, and she's already retired. So,
Yeah.
And I have no idea when she retired. I couldn't find a lot of information on her. Of course, I didn't have a whole lot of time before now.
Right.
When we got here.
But we're interested to find out.
Yeah. And they were talking something about, cooking, different ways that they cook or steam the agave. So now I'm just completely, and the difference between tequila and mezcal. So now I'm completely, now you know what I really want?
Yep,
I want Jake to
questions.
come home. I want Jake to come home.
Yeah.
I want Jake to come home and sit in that chair and tell me stories.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll do. We will table the tequila discussion until Jake comes home.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Cheers till the next one.
Thanks for hanging out with Ape and Reba on this episode of Bitches and Bourbon.
Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Until next time, here's to bad bitches and good bourbon. Cheers.